Welcome back. Okay, so this next adventure has a little bit of a story behind it. So this is my FMS Skytrainer 182, basically a Cessna 182. And this, when I got back into the hobby, when my kids started getting old enough, this is the airplane I got. So this is what I trained on to get me back to flying. And since then, I've been using it as a trainer plane. So one of the things I do is I'm an instructor at my local club, and I use this when somebody shows up and they want to learn how to fly, but they don't have an airplane yet. So I use it as my intro. And I've been doing that, and it's been working just fine. But I recently picked up a student, and he's turning 12 here this week, and I'm going to actually donate this plane to him. So he's been doing really well with his training, and I really want to keep him interested in it. He's super passionate about it right now. So I'm actually going to donate this airplane to him. So in doing that, I am going to get a new airplane. And I'm going to stick with a Cessna style airplane as an intro airplane. And it's because of one of the things that my student said when he first showed up and he was interested in learning. He just expressed how much he loved this airplane. And I really got thinking about it. It's like, what was so special about this airplane? And I think it really has to do a lot with it being a Cessna. So it's something that he's seen fly at an airport all over the place. He may even know somebody that owns a Cessna. And because of that, now it's less of a toy and more of a real thing, or more interest. So I wanted to stick with the Cessna for the same reasons. So that if I'm training somebody new, it's something they've seen fly before, and it doesn't look like a standard trainer, like a sensei or an apprentice or something like that. It looks like a real airplane. So in saying that, I'm going to transition from this to this guy. So I looked at a number of different Cessnas that were on the market, and I looked at some bigger ones, and I was really tempted to get a bigger one, a nicer one. But then when I came back to, I'm going to let beginners, people who've never flown, fly this airplane. And I just thought, if I went too big, too nice, then I'd probably be a little sad if it did get crashed, damaged, anything happened to it. So this one became a really good mix between size, price, function. It is bigger than the FMS. I do like that. But it's got some good and some bad about it. Some things I like better about the FMS. Some things I like better about this. So this one's a little bit bigger. I like that, except the FMS, I could just throw it in my truck, leave the wing on it, take it out, fly it, put it back in the truck. This one I am going to have to take the wing off. The FMS had lights on it. This one doesn't have lights. It's got one little fake tail light beacon on it. The lights were nice, but this one, the size is a little better. The FMS, I did not like that I had to put the battery in on the belly. So to put the battery in, I had to flip it over on a stand, put the battery in, flip it back over. This one, the windshield comes off and you can get directly to the battery compartment. So I really like that. The other thing that drew me to this model was I actually had some old parts sitting around, and they fit right into this. So this is the plug and play type of version. Doesn't come with the motor or the servos or anything, versus the bind and fly version. A little more expensive, but it comes with the servos and the motor and the prop and all that stuff. So this one, I actually had a lot of the stuff sitting around. So I had a number of servos, I had the motor, and I didn't have to pick up that much to finish it. So the price became really pretty attractive. So I'll show you how I'm going to outfit it. So this is the motor I already had. It's a Turnigy SK3, very similar to the size that they sell on the Bind and Fly version, and they run a 13/8 prop on it. So I have a 13/8 prop that I've already painted the tips on to make it look nice and scale. I did have to pick up the ESC. I really like the Hobby Wing ESCs. I've never had any issues out of them. They've been great. They stay cool. They put out plenty of power. So I did pick up their Fun Fly version for this. Just a basic, simple 60 amp, same as the Bind and Fly version. The wheels, I'm going to change out the wheels. When I did get this kit in, the wheels seem like they're hard as a stone. And I don't like wheels that are hard and chatter and squeak going down the runway as you're taking off. So I like to switch out to these Dubro super light wheels, the foam ones. They're nice, quiet, they last a long time. They've always been great wheels. So I picked up 2 for the mains. Already had one sitting around that I can use for the nose gear. The spinner that came with this one is black, and with this color scheme, it's just horrible. And the spinner that comes in the kit is just a standard spinner. And Cessnas tend to have a long nose on them. So I picked up this carbon fiber spinner that's a little bit longer, much more of a Cessna type of shape, and I painted it white to match the scheme. I picked up this receiver. I didn't have one sitting around that would do 7 channels. So I'll explain in a second why I wanted 7 channels. So I had a buddy, he actually sold me this receiver and these 2 JR servos really cheap to finish out this kit. So this is got the DSMX technology on it. It's a little bit older receiver, but it'll tie right into Spectrum. It just won't have any kind of telemetry on it. So I'm going to run this little module here that'll give me a little bit of my antenna telemetry. I'm going to switch out the horns to these carbon fiber horns that I've already painted white. I really like the way these end up making the model look. The horns that come in the kit, I don't know if you can quite see them here, but they end up having a back plate on them, and they end up sticking through, and I just think it takes away from the scale look a little bit. So I got these pretty cheap and painted them white so they'll blend in on most of the surfaces, and I'll switch those out. So why 7 channels? So the way this model is set up, the elevator halves are independent, but they Y together through a wire up near this rear window. They Y together and then go to one servo. But the servos I had sitting around, I had 3 standard servos and 2 mini servos, and these all fit within the specs for the servos they want for the different surfaces. And these 2 guys are more than half of one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put each elevator half on a mini servo. So that'll give me some redundancy in the elevator if one ever does fail. At least I'll have some control. So with that, and I wanted to run all of these servos independent, straight to the receiver. So this gives me 7 servos. So these 2 will end up on the flaps. I'll have 2 on the ailerons, 1 on rudder, and then these 2 on elevator. And so a 9 channel receiver will give me all the channels I need to do that nice and clean. So I'm really excited to get this one going, get it together. I need it together so I can continue to train students that don't have their airplane already. So I'm gonna start working on this guy, get it together, and get it in the air. So I'm excited for this new little adventure, this change in my training setup. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Happy flying.